job of CIA has been and still is to collect information from all sources, many open sources as well as from diplomatic contacts and in some cases from foreign agents that relate to the national interest, security, foreign policy of the United States. And to analyze that information, give it to our decision makers. That's the bulk of the job. These stories you've read are about peripheral activities for the most part, and in my view, many of the stories are not based on fact.
Well, take, for instance, the idea of the intervention in Chile, where it's now openly admitted by the president that what was going on there was in his book, all right. And it's been admitted by other people that the idea there was to try and change the government, that the U.S. didn't. What people find most hard in the foreign aspect of the CIA's work to understand that the United States should feel that it has that right to, as it were, wrench the government of a country round to its own way of thinking.
I don't think that's the way to think about it. I think it's an attempt to wrench the political forces in the country in a way which will permit the normal political workings of an open society and a representative government to be effective. Now, obviously, those are value judgments, and people don't agree. And in the present circumstances of a very fluid international state of affairs, I doubt very much the United States will be intervening in such matters. But I don't think that you can buy the proposition that it is totally and irretrievably immoral and wrong to try to do so in the way which I've described.
Isn't, though, the great problem that when the CIA is given that enormous responsibility and that power, that it, in a certain sense it gets too big for its boots, that it doesn't know where to start, that it goes and does all kinds of illegal things, not only abroad, but here in the United States?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I think that is one of the real fantasies and myths of the CIA mystique, which is criticized so much. The CIA is, in this respect of actions abroad particularly, a total instrument of the U.S. government as a whole. No such action as has been described in Chile could possibly take place without the senior officers of the State Department, the Defense Department, and the President's representatives in the White House, if not the President himself, giving their quite explicit approval. And in a sense, the criticism of the agency for its actions in these cases which have come to light are misdirected. The agency does what it is told by the National Security Council of the United States, which that strategic intelligence and agencies doing that kind of work are vital to our national welfare, our process of foreign policy formulation, and so on. Therefore, I'm glad to see solid information come out about what is involved. And as I say, that mostly is simply collecting reliable information in not very exciting ways and analyzing it properly. But I do believe that the flood of stories which have come out because of the little knowledge on the part of people observing tend to exaggerate and romanticize the whole process so much.
And why are people publishing
fictional
this?
Rather than true?
Why at this moment are people publishing everything they can find about this?
Well, I don't know. I suppose that in our media, sex and violence have got a little old hat. Spies still have a certain charm. It seems to me there's an extravagant and prurient interest in espionage, considering it is such a limited aspect of intelligence analysis, which is our main job.
Is it also perhaps a reflection of the climate of the times?
Well, yes, it would be foolish to ignore the influence of the aftermath of Watergate, the total suspicion and fear that institutions of government are not working in the public interest as they should, and that's a well-founded fear. And in our kind of government, vigilance is the price of liberty, and I don't think we should deplore that. What I want and hope for, however, is a more responsible reporting and analysis and investigation designed to find out what an intelligence system does for a nation, how it protects it against international dangers, and how well the job is being done, rather than a bunch of spy stories.